Well, hey everybody. Welcome back to Babble Tech. Today I am doing a live stream for technology Q&A. I tried one last night in the evening, and I realized most of my audience probably wasn't actually online then. So yeah, I didn't really get anybody viewing. I think I got one viewer. So if you have tech questions, if you're on mobile, and you open this video, you will see either the chat box on your left hand side or directly below the video window, depending on which way you're holding your phone. If you are on another computer, your chat box is going to be on the right. So until I actually get questions in chat, which I have up over here, I am going to be just answering random things. If I have enough time, I might be doing a full Linux Mint install on a virtual machine and customizing it and explaining it. Yesterday, I know I did have the failure of not having my audio on for the second half of the video. So at some point during this live stream, probably really soon, I'm going to actually test the audio myself by opening up my own live video. Alright, so let's go ahead with the intro. I'll see you guys in a second. Hey, welcome to Babble Tech. You have to have a decent amount of... It's so easy, anybody can use. Get a few comments. Somehow fly one of these. You don't see it, obviously. And if you want to rewind or fascinating. Hey, Fokerinos. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to my browser view here. And this will just take a moment. There we are. So now we can answer some questions. I don't know. Is this a good place to have my face, or should I have my face over here? What do you guys think? Let me know where you want it in the comments below. I think this is good. You don't need to see so much of my screen here. Alright, so here is a question that I was asked. Oh, I'm going to move my body over here more because you can't see the question. This was a meme on Reddit where someone was saying, oh no, when I connect to my Wi-Fi, it says Wi-Fi connected but no internet, which is a really common thing. And the reason why I actually went on to explain, and all these people were like, what? So I thought I should go over what I answered here. I'm going to go ahead and click my own answer. Because Wi-Fi does not mean internet. We've dumbed things down too far. And this is really common in technology, where you hear something like, oh, I have an iPad, and you're like, wow, you can afford Apple devices? No, I just have a tablet. Well, an iPad is not just a tablet, it's an Apple tablet, and there are differences, right? So a technology person can't help you out with your iPad if it's not an iPad over the phone, because they're treating it like it's what it isn't. So it's very important that we know at least some basic technical terminology, Wi-Fi being one of them. Wi-Fi does not mean internet. Wi-Fi means that your wireless connection to your router, which acts as a power strip or a power bar to give you more outlets for your modem, which then connects you to the internet. So Wi-Fi is just a wireless connection to a glorified power strip, and that goes to your modem, and the modem goes out over a cable or fiber line to your internet connection company, and there's like nodes in between, but that doesn't matter. Long story short, that explains why when you have a Wi-Fi connection on your computer and it says Wi-Fi connected but no internet, it's because either your router is overloaded, the modem's not working, the internet lines have been cut or damaged in a storm. So that explains why you can have Wi-Fi connected but no internet. Wi-Fi does not mean internet. You can use Wi-Fi in very useful ways without having an internet connection in the middle of nowhere. Namely, printing, for instance. That doesn't usually need the internet unless you're using Google Cloud Print. So my suggestion to these folks was, when you see this message, especially during the quarantine, it usually means that your router isn't that great, and it can't handle as many devices on the Wi-Fi network that are currently in use. So Why would that be relevant to the quarantine? Because most people are at home, right? You have your kids all are on YouTube or Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus. Of course, it's Disney Plus now because that's the new hotness. And there's just more people than ever using internet at the same time, and not just using the internet, but using very high bandwidth activities. Zoom, Discord, Skype, Duo, Hangouts, Facebook Messenger. Video chats are the worst thing as far as bandwidth goes, right? They're going to use up all the bandwidth your router can possibly throw at them. I was actually running into this issue myself when some other stuff was happening in my house. So a lot of things can cause that. But usually the answer is to get a better router. If you want to test things out a little bit more and try to tweak what you already have, I recommend an app in your app store called Wi-Fi Man, and it's made by Ubiquiti Networks. Ubiquiti Networks makes very, very high-end routers for large-scale businesses such as hospitals or schools. And a lot of us IT guys will swear by Ubiquiti or Cisco Meraki. Ubiquiti isn't only the cheapest option, it also seems to be the best most of the time, unless you go with Cisco Meraki, which is like the Lexus of routers in business. You're going to be spending a lot more for not a whole lot more, ironically. At least that's what I've heard. I haven't actually used the Meraki equipment too much myself. My companies I worked with usually went with Ubiquiti. So yeah, get a better router or try the Wi-Fi Man app on your phone. And then Wi-Fi Man will let you know if there's issues with your internet. Now, it doesn't tell you outright what those issues are. Oh man, I wish I had my phone connected right now because I could probably show you guys. But basically, Wi-Fi Man would show you if there's a lot of routers using the same channel. So it's kind of like when you were trying to move your rabbit ear antennas on your TV using an aerial antenna. Sometimes you get like two channels kind of overlapping, like, you know, it's kind of like that with routers as well. So if your router is set to, say, channel 1 and your neighbor's router is set to channel 1 or 2, they can actually interfere with each other. And that can be a really big problem. So Wi-Fi Man will tell you what channels your neighbor's network is on and your network is on. How does this help you? Well, you can change the channels on your router. You can usually log into your router by typing in an IP address. You can look and call your router manufacturer and say, hey, how can I change the channel on my router? And they should be able to lead you through it. Or you can have an IT guy like me come out and diagnose that. It can take a lot of trial and error. But if all you're doing is changing those channel settings, there's not really much chance of making things much worse. You basically go down the list, pick a number, hit apply, wait for 5 minutes, and see if your signal on farther areas of the house works better. That's all there is to it. So, TLDR, short version, Wi-Fi is not internet. You know what? I might actually take a second here. I'm going to check my own audio quality, and I'm going to share this on YouTube, I think. Let me see. Let's see if I can actually hear myself here. So, can I hear myself? I can. Excellent. Fantastic. All right. So I'm actually going to share this to my own Facebook page. I'd like to. Yeah. Okay. Well, while I share this, I'm just going to cut the stream for a second. I'll be right back, folks. Hey, welcome to Bubble Tech. You know, you have to have a decent amount of... It's so easy, anybody can use. Get a few comments. Somehow fly one of these. You don't see an hobby. And if you want to rewind or fascinating. Alright, but everyone, I am back. And I just posted some stuff to Facebook and checked my audio, so this live stream will actually be useful to people after the fact and during, far more than the last one, as people will actually be able to hear me for the second half of it. Now, I don't need my headphones on, so I'm going to take those off. I will say, without headphones on, it does feel a lot more like I'm just talking to myself, which is kind of awkward, so I'm going to try to imagine an audience. And are there pants? No, that's just weird. When I imagine an audience while I'm talking to you guys, this is why I don't do a lot of live streams, but I better get used to it, because I have a feeling this is going to be popular when people find out about it. If you guys like the idea of a tech Q&A, share this video. And, yeah, good stuff. I'm going to try to do it at least once a week, whether or not I get people in the live stream. And the reason being, well, it creates content really, really fast, which is nice. And, you know, I think people will still get video or use out of it, right? So, just covered some of that. Now let's go ahead and go over to the Reddit Tech Sports subreddit, which is a forum board where people ask things. And I answer them. A lot of people answer them, not just me. But I'm one of the people who answers some stuff on here. So let me go ahead and just pick a question that is new. So I'm going to sort by new, so I can be the most useful. Let's see. Samsung Blu-ray drive isn't allowing it to eject. Let's see. I'm going to pull this up here. I'm going to see the video privately, so make sure you guys don't see anything we're not supposed to. Okay. So he doesn't have the this is kind of funny. So it looks like it's just a bad drive. So I'm really not going to do much with that one, because I don't have anything to add. He disassembled the unit. It's like a Blu-ray player. And it may have been an expensive one, which is why he wants to fix it. But, yeah, I'm going to leave that one alone because I can't actually add anything to that. I thought he was actually having trouble recovering his disc from it, in which case you do what he does and take it apart. So, that's not his problem. Please help me with audio. Broken and muffled. This is what this person is saying. At first, I thought my headphones were broken, so I stopped using them and connected my earbuds via Bluetooth, and it was still not working, and it sounded the same. I tried uninstalling and reinstalling audio drivers, disabling audio enhancement settings, and I'm going insane. P.S. My built-in speakers work fine. That's really weird. Depends on what they're doing with it. So I'm going to ask what players are using. Okay, so I asked, what audio player are you using to test? Because that definitely could be relevant. There may be quality settings, buffering happening. In this case, I'm not going to trust that the speakers are actually fine. I hear a lot of people say these things, anything that someone says if you're doing tech support, as rude as it might sound, to an extent, you have to pretend that elements of their story are wrong. Not that they're a not trustworthy person, but they may be interpreting what they're seeing incorrectly. They may be doing something as simple as calling their computer a modem, right? So when I was in tech support at Gateway and Acer, which I did for a while, and then I worked at Blackboard, which is a major college website thing. A lot of my other coworkers were like, I don't understand, how did you comprehend what that client was trying to say? And I didn't believe them, more or less, which is why I could understand what they were saying. My mom, for instance, uses a lot of made-up words. She'll just say made-up words, and I attribute my success in the IT field to her, partially because of those made-up words. So I hear the emotion, I hear the tone, I kind of feel like, okay, what is the context to what they're saying, or doing, or what are they trying to do? That's the important thing, because end users are almost never going to use the correct terminology. Much like the last thing I discussed with Wi-Fi. That people don't understand Wi-Fi is not internet. It is a connection type to connect you usually to the internet, but if that connection type isn't connected on the other end to internet, you're not connected to the internet even though the Wi-Fi is fine. Does that make sense? So for this person, I go ahead and respond with what audio player are you using test have you updated recently? What model of computer you have. So he's saying everything doesn't work except for speakers. What I'm going to guess is when you have headphones on, it's a lot easier to tell if there's audio glitches. A lot easier to tell if something is off, right? With speakers, it's not so easy to tell, right? If the audio is coming out, usually it sounds okay unless you have a really highly tuned ear. So he may be just detecting, he or she may be detecting audio problems with just a superior audio device that he or she doesn't recognize. Usually, whatever. Yeah, but however, I have seen this problem happen on Windows 10. My brother had a Lenovo Yoga, very high-end laptop, like $1,500. It had quad-core processor, graphics card, touchscreen, blah, 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 blah. All aluminum body. And I don't know if this was due to hardware problems, which it had a lot of, but certain things that he would run that played sound, specifically Halo the Master Chief Collection, that had all sorts of distortions. And while that was a known issue in that game, it wasn't on all hardware, so I don't know what caused that. So once in a while you're going to run something where bad hardware, bad drivers, you just can't get past it easily. At least not on Windows, because some manufacturers simply don't update their stuff properly. Which is why I ironically typically tend to recommend MacBook Pros, ThinkPads, and I say ironically because I don't use MacBook Pros, and ThinkPads are Lenovo, just like my brother's Lenovo Yoga. But the high-end ThinkPads are very, very high-end stuff, equivalent to MacBook Pros in quality, and I tend to have way less issues with those and MacBook Pros than almost any other kind of computer. Dell business-grade desktops, HP business-grade desktops and laptops, I should say the same thing for Dell. Similar story, right? These are expensive devices, and they're going to last you longer. And if you don't have a lot of money, like I said in my last live stream, that doesn't mean you can't get a high-quality computer. It just means you have to look for one that's used. If you have a certain budget that's under like $600 to $800 for a laptop, do not get a new computer. You're not going to be able to get a good one unless you get a really, really good deal. And those are pretty rare. Okay. So, sorry, minted my mouth there. Dry mouth problems. So yeah. I asked this person to update it recently. So what I'm trying to get at there is, for one thing, updates are like the number one thing that causes issues in Windows these days, ironically. Not a lot of viruses, usually with Windows 10, as long as you're not going to terrible websites. Perverse stuff. What model of computer do you have? Because I want to know that, because then I can either point them to a better driver that they may not have found, Or I can look up that model number in Google, or start page rather. I don't like Google. And sound problems in the search bar, whatever, search field. And then I'll be able to see if other people are having this problem. That is the number one thing that separates tech people from non-tech people. I shouldn't say number one. Number one is being afraid to change different settings. That's not what this person is afraid of, though. They've tried a lot of things. And they tried all the right things, by the way. But number two is just using internet search. Trying to search and research your problem for yourself. With computers, most of the time, you can just figure this stuff out by yourself. And that's more true for computers than any other field. And I'll tell you why. The internet is where all the computer field people are. Okay? So, while there are definitely gearheads, like car guys, who are on the internet as well, and you can get a lot of good information out of them, you're probably going to get more information out of those types of people by actually knowing them personally, hanging out at car shows, going to garages, blah, 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 working in that field. Whereas all the people who are working in the computer field are sitting at their computer using the internet all day long. And sometimes we have a lot of downtime, and that doesn't mean we're not working. It means we're just maintaining things by monitoring them, right? So, in that free time, a lot of us get on these subreddits, these forum boards, and we just help each other out. And that's where the internet was actually created, in a sense. People just started networking computers together, and they started using these forum boards, like the BBS systems, over phone lines. And you could just talk with each other, and then people started making software. And open source software that was made by collaboration like that is really what created and maintains the internet to this day. So if you understand open source methodologies, then you understand how everything starts to work. Alright, so I asked that question. I don't see any notifications for them responding yet. Oh, no, I got it. They did, in fact, respond. Fantastic. Okay, I over-scrolled here. Come on, buddy, scroll back up. Yes, I updated after the problem to try and fix. I'm just testing my audio, YouTube, games, Spotify, Discord. I have a Dell G7. Alright, I think the Dell G7 is a pretty common budget gaming laptop. I could be wrong, though. Dell 7. Sound. Dell G7 sound issues. Let's see. Oh, wow. This is... yeah. Okay. Lots of people having this problem, apparently. Let's see. This recurring sound issue. Oh, wow. That is really interesting. Okay, so let's see. A lot of people complaining about this, but it's also possible that a lot of people just have this computer, so that does muddy the results a little bit. Alright, let's see. Blah de blah de blah. What? Oh, okay. Somebody was asking a lot of problems, a lot of questions in one thing. Okay. Not seeing anything that great. But I can send them this guide from Dell. And it helps you troubleshoot sound. So this is really good. This is a really good guide. I usually don't reply with guides like this, but this is probably more thorough than I could be with typing anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and send it over to them. Hopefully they don't get upset. Okay. Okie dokie. I got that one then. Alright, let's do... What do we got? Let's answer some Linux questions. Let's see what we got. And I keep forgetting to sort by new. That would help, huh? Alrighty, let's see here. I'm a little surprised I only have one viewer right now, according to YouTube. Ah, hey, worse things have happened. Oh, it looks like this community is pretty active. Everybody's got answers. Everybody's got answers in there. Okay, cool. Alrighty, let's try 24-hour tech support. Boop. Alrighty, new. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is great too. So a lot of people are answering those questions. Fantastic. Well, let's see. I'm going to refresh the page and see if we got any new questions. We have some new questions. Alright, screen artifacting, which is when you get glitches all over the screen, right? Okay. Day before yesterday, while in the middle of the game, my screen started to artifact really terribly. Here's what it looked like. I've seen it. I've tried to do so many things to fix it. Updating, reinstalling drivers, turning off FreeSync, blah blah blah, new cords, etc. I just built the PC around a month ago and maybe real decide if I have to get a new card already. Okay. They are almost certainly experiencing card overheating. Oh man, that is bad. Oh, I feel bad for this person. More than likely a corrupted file. Yeah, but that's not the case. Because you got a lot of, this person said they did it in games and a few other applications. So that's not good, man. That's not good. What? Alright, so I told them it looks like the card is overheating. One of the fans may be non-functional or blocked by a cable in the case. Power off, unplug computer, and see how hot the card is. It is very important to unplug a desktop. If you're going to be playing around inside of it, you can shock yourself to death. So that's something a lot of people overlook. Unplug that power cable. It's probably not a bad idea to unplug your monitor cables either, because they might be doing some sort of feedback. Through the graphics card or whatever. Probably far less likely, but still. Yeah, and I said one of the fans may be non-functional or blocked by a cable in the case. When somebody does their first builds, if they're not really careful with their cable management, or neat, I should say, not so much careful, fans can get blocked really, really easy by cables. Like, those cables may even shift if you don't mount certain things properly. In my last computer, this one right here, that was exactly an issue that I had at one point. Now, to those, if my friend JD is listening, no, that's not why my graphics card was overheating. may not have helped because that case is just too small to accommodate a graphics card that big. There was definitely cables all over it, but no, that's not what the graphics card was overheating. It was just overheating because one of the fans don't work. I don't think. So definitely something to know about. You know, make sure if you build a computer for the first time that you get those cables away from those fans, and cause the computer to shut down, and cause all sorts of random things, and cause an issue just like this poor fellow had. Makes all sorts of rainbow colors happen all over the screen, and that's called artifacting. Hey Mike, how you doing? I just saw your little chat there. Glad to have you on my live stream. I was partially inspired by you, so thank you. If you don't know Mike Gaston, he is a marketing expert, consultant, good friend of mine. Gave me a lot of business suggestions, and I don't know if I'd be even this far without him. So thanks, Mike. If you have any questions, let me know. I don't know if you're going to hang on here, Mike, but I was going to talk about the Apple ecosystem for a little while. Even if you end up